In this video, I'm going to show you how to fill your raised garden beds. I'm going to link below my previous video on how I built these myself, but whether you're buying them or you're building them yourself, you're going to need to fill them with a lot of soil, and that can be really expensive when you are starting out your garden. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a cost-effective way. As you can see here, these boxes are huge with my small body inside of them. I had built two, and so I'm going to show you what I filled them with. But just to note really quickly, if you are concerned about gophers or rabbits in your area, don't put weed guard on the bottom. I would suggest putting chicken wire on the bottom. That's what I found from all of my research. I don't really struggle with that in my area, so I just went ahead and filled them plain. Okay, for the first layer, you're going to use any trees, logs, or firewood that you have laying around. Obviously, I wouldn't use treated firewood, but we had several trees come down during, well, branches of trees come down during a snowstorm and just your regular tree maintenance. And so I kept all of these, and then I was able to use those for my bottom layer. Obviously, with time, these logs and sticks will start to decompose, and so your garden boxes naturally are going to settle over the years. But this really helps conserve costs and saves you on the front end. You can fill this up to about a third to 40% of your box. This is what mine ended up looking like. I really tried to fit as much in there as possible to save on the cost. This does require a lot of wood, and so if you don't have trees around your house, I'm sure maybe a neighbor does, or you can go up into the woods and get scraps from there. This is layer 2, and this is why this project is so nice to do in the spring, is that as I was getting my yard ready for the summer, I raked all of the leaves up that had kind of been stuck in the grass or left behind from the fall, as well as my first few grass clippings. I saved those and added them to the box also. Every time I added in a layer, I made sure to go through with my rake because that is settling down in amongst those tree logs. All of the information I found online said that you can use any old food scraps, compost, anything that you want in this. So as I was cleaning out my fridge, I started throwing anything that I could into these boxes to make them fill as fast and as cheaply as possible. And now I have an actual compost that I do that with in order to refill my garden beds, but that's a video for another day. Okay, and now for everyone's favorite step, if not, is the manure. And you can either go to your garden store and you can buy this, or you could go to Facebook Marketplace and search out farms in your area, depending on where you live. And a lot of times farms will allow you to come and fill buckets of manure for free. So that is an option as well. I chose the easy route and I just went and bought a few bags at my local garden store. And I made sure to rake this really thoroughly to make sure that it was able to settle through all those leaves as well. This fourth layer, I think, is what made my garden so successful my very first year, and it was the peat moss. This just allows your plants to have a lot of oxygen and breathability within the soil. So I would alternate this and the very final layer, which is the garden topsoil. So I would do a layer of peat moss, and then I would do a layer of garden soil on top of it, and then rake it back and forth and just continue on with that process until my box was all the way full. And one final thing I did that I think really helped my garden to be successful was worm castings. I know that sounds disgusting, but I bought a bag of those at the garden store, and when I was planting, I would use those, and I really think that they help just give the plants the nutrients they need to be really successful, especially your first year. I did purchase all of the plants that I planted in my garden my first year, and this can get surprisingly expensive pretty quickly. So you can either do that or you can start your own seeds inside of your home or a green home earlier in the spring. That is what I'm going to try this year. And so you just have to plan ahead for that to ensure that they have grown and are mature enough by the time that you need to be planting them in your beds. So here's a final look as to what mine ended up looking like the very first year. And then I went back through and stained the outside of the boxes. So I hope this video has been helpful. Good luck with your gardens and happy planting.